My name is Janelle Washington. I'm from Decatur, Illinois. It's a small town outside of Springfield. CTE runs in my family. My grandfather, we lost him in 2021 at the age of 93. But my granddad, I consider him to be one of my first teachers. But he had a 6th grade education. So he was born in 1928 and he grew up in Brownsville, Tennessee. He migrated to Central Illinois around 1950 and worked at a casting company where he poured iron. He didn't have any formal education, but it was very much the manufacturing sector. But he had no formal education or training, but he excelled in his career. My mom also, she was a CNA when I was born. And I remember her going to school for nursing and finishing her licensed practical nursing certificate, becoming an LPN. She worked as a nurse. I had always had this passion for navigating the intersection of higher education and the criminal legal system. And CTE was just a natural place that made that connection for me. My background is in the criminal legal field. I have experience working as a juvenile detention officer, an adult probation officer, and then an assistant superintendent at a juvenile detention center. I have been looking for an opportunity to work in higher ed, specifically in the student conduct field. I don't have the experience that I thought connected to that field. So the one thing that I could change is the education. And so I left my full-time career in the criminal legal field and studied higher ed, student affairs. I did the full-time graduate experience. I had a graduate assistantship. I worked part-time, all while trying to, contribute to supporting my family. The fellowship helped to open my eyes to what was out there and that there was a whole world of CTE beyond, what I do in my role in Illinois. So it connected me to different organizations, different individuals. We had so many women and post-secondary leaders of color who came in. That was very inspiring, and it just let me see that I can aspire to have a role like this as well. Something that's been key for me is finding ways to explore my interests related to my role. So transitioning to CTE was new for me, but being able to draw from my past experiences and my passion and talents and apply those to work in post-secondary CTE has been really important. James Baldwin said that not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. I think that it's important to remember that when we do equity work and we work to uncover different barriers and challenges, it's not to criticize, it's not to say people are doing things wrong. It comes from a genuine place in support of our learners to make sure that learners have equitable access to CTE and that they're able to succeed. Another challenge is the salary gap. If you want to attract the best talent and have the best leaders who have experience in the field, they have to be compensated accordingly. A challenge for me is being able to balance being authentically me and also trying to be careful with how I show up as a Black woman. So for example, being assertive is not necessarily a bad thing, but for Black women, it can be seen as negative. And so I find myself kind of overthinking to make sure that I'm not going to be perceived a certain way. Support that really made a difference in my confidence as a leader is the unwavering support of my supervisor, my coach in the fellowship, and also the advanced CTE staff that worked with us during the fellowship. These individuals were able to connect me to other individuals who had similar interests and passions as I do, or who work with learners that are just as impacted, and that was really important, making those connections. Representation in CTE is really important to make CTE positions more welcoming for other aspiring leaders of color. The first thing that people need to do is hire more leaders of color, because you can't be what you can't see. There's no way I could have aspired to be a CTE leader because I didn't even know that role existed. I didn't know that there was an opportunity for me until the position was posted. I applied, it fit my skill set, and it would allow me to explore my interests, but I couldn't study to be a post-secondary CTE leader because no one ever said that was possible. Representation in state CTE leadership is very important because aspiring leaders need mentors and they need sponsors. So one thing that I heard is that mentors talk to you while sponsors talk about you. So both are equally important. Mentors are role models. They help to navigate spaces. They provide advice. Sponsors will speak your name in rooms where you're not even present to advocate for you and help to advance your career. Representation in state leadership is important so aspiring leaders know that they belong and that they're welcome. In addition to diversity, equity, and inclusion, we're beginning to use the words access and belonging, but those words mean nothing without action and the individuals actually feeling that they belong and that they have access. I want to walk into a space and know that I belong. I want to walk into a space and know that I was thought of, that my contribution matters. Like if I contribute, I want to know that it's not falling on deaf ears, that people are taking into consideration what I said. It's important to build pipelines so that aspiring leaders have a clear roadmap to state CTE leadership positions. Some of the elements that spoke to my desire to become an equity-minded leader throughout the fellowship were the challenge and support that I received from advanced CTE staff. They saw more in me than I saw in myself. They knew exactly when to push me outside of my comfort zone, but they were also there to support me. That was really important. Participating in the fellowship inspired me to apply for a doctoral program in community college leadership, which I began recently. For years, I had gone back and forth on whether or not I wanted to pursue a doctorate. I have 2 masters, I have experience, and I felt like I didn't need it. Like, I have all this experience and it's difficult as a Black woman to be compensated for education and experience. During the fellowship, I was able to explore advancing equitable access for justice-involved individuals while they're incarcerated. And one of the first things that I noticed was that there was a lack of research around CTE specifically when it comes to justice-impacted individuals. I stopped thinking about what it would do for me and what I could do through the doctoral program to help to support and advance access to CTE for justice-impacted individuals. So once my perspective shifted, I was eager to apply for the next step. In 5 years, I will be Dr. Washington. I will have completed my doctoral program and I will have added to the body of scholarship and research for justice-impacted individuals. In 5 years, I hope to see increased access to CTE for individuals in correctional facilities, and I also hope to see improved outcomes for justice-impacted individuals. In the future, I would hope to see a more clearly defined pathway for aspiring state CTE leaders. As far as I know, there's currently no clear education that is required for individuals to become CTE leaders. I would like to see more clearly defined skills and competencies for state CTE leadership.